All right then. Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Hello, my friends out there in internet land. My name is Josh. I am doing a special episode of Dead Men Streaming today because I wanted to talk about the event Invaders from Beyond, which relaunched for its annual appearance here in Fallout 76. Before I begin, really quick, I've got a really bad virus right now, so I'm congested. Unfortunately, I'm not consulted on when's a good time for me to record a video. What can I say? So if you hear me sniffling, I'm not upset. I'm just living in West Virginia. So, anyways, about Invaders from Beyond, this is a straightforward event with three waves that change slightly each time, with a set of rewards that are pretty fun from the end boss. Um, there were some conflicting reports at the start of this about some of the things that this guy was dropping, but it looks like he's just dropping loot out of his normal loot pool. With that said, before we get started, I am playing on a private server, and what you see from me in terms of solo ability are going to be different for you, more than likely, because I am overpowered. I am intentionally overpowered, and I'm happy about being overpowered. Super fast, the weapon that I will largely be using, if I can get it, is going to be a anti-armor holy fire. You can take a look at it really quick while I hit an improved repair kit. I am in power armor, and I am a full health tank build. You can take a quick look if you need a pause for a screenshot. Now's a good time to do it. Ignore covert operative. I'm experimenting with something. And I am using Electric Absorption as my main legendary perk on this. By that, I mean it's the perk that's going to do me the most good. All right, let me get rid of these. When you start this event, or when somebody starts this event, you pour it in to whatever area this is going to occur at, and then you examine that brainwave siphon. You'll want to stay a little bit away from these. They do put out some decent DPS whenever they fire off. All right. Now, a few things about this event. This event can spawn at a handful of different locations throughout Appalachia, but it will spawn at the top of the hour every hour from now until September, I think the 23rd is when this expires. And this is fairly straightforward. So it can spawn here at Garam Mining Headquarters. It can spawn at Sundew Grove. It can spawn over at Mananga. Um, it can spawn at Dyer Chemical. It can also spawn at the Charleston Capitol Building. And during this event, you'll also have a chance of seeing alien scouting parties scattered throughout the world that may appear as random encounters. Now, the good news is nothing in Appalachia likes these, so anytime these things pop up, you may get involved in a firefight between a couple of different parties. Did I get that one? No. Yeah. They're not the hardest things in the world to kill. They do use energy weapons almost entirely, so if you have low energy resist, you may struggle with taking them out, but otherwise you should be okay. Now, some of these aliens are marked as like toxic or cryo, which means they're just, not just energy. They may hit you with a poison DOT, or you might get slowed down just a hair, like you would if you were finding any enemy with a cryo mutation. It's unfortunate, but it's what it is. Now, I'm going to be honest, I can't always solo this. On occasion, if the arena is too big, I do have a personal problem with that. But 90% of the time, if you're doing this on a public server, you're going to have, 10, 15 people jumping in on this right now. Now, the first stage of this, all three stages of this require that you get rid of 30 enemies at a time, 30 enemies for each wave, followed up by two mini bosses and then one final boss. So all we're doing right now is just running through here, looking for those transporters so we can see where the bad guys are spawning at, and then we are just getting rid of them as quickly as I possibly can. Since we are under a timer for this, we only have about 10 minutes max to complete this, so you do have to be quick on your kills. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. So that was 27. There's 28. 29. For one more victim. There it is right there. Okay. And then once you do that, then you'll have your first mini boss, who's going to be Lieutenant Kappa, who is right there. Their heads are their weak spot. These things are modeled after the old movie Mars Attacks. And if you've never seen it, you should. It's a classic by this point. You can even find some Mars Attacks stuff at like Spirit Halloween is great. And then as soon as you pop the first siphon, as soon as you pop the mini boss, the shield around the siphon will drop. And then you need to come over to the next siphon. And then you're going to have to get rid of another 30 enemies. So I'm leaving these alive just so I can have a cluster to get rid of. That was 5 right there. And a drone. Oh, and another drone. This is one of the easier spots to get a hold of these. Now, in Wave 2, you may get some of those bigger guys, the alien invaders. They do hit a little bit harder, and they also use a melee weapon. So some of them are going to come rushing straight for you. In the first wave, you don't have to put up with them. What you do have to put up with, though, are little explosives that you'll be seeing pop on the screen as soon as I happen to catch one. But you see that grenade over there. The mothership is going to be blasting you with orbital bombardments, in addition to the aliens teleporting down, trying to stop you from defeating the brainwave siphons. And really, they don't hit that hard. They do about 10% worth of damage to me on my full health build. Your mileage on that is going to vary tremendously. So just keep your eyes on your health a little bit and try not to get caught underneath somebody dropping a bomb on you, which really is good life, you know. I think that's a fair thing to say about life in general. All right, your next two mini bosses are going to be Captain Alpha and Omega. They spawn as alien drones. Where'd the other one go? Okay. And just like Lieutenant Kappa, they're fairly straightforward. They don't hit for much. They do have slightly more hit points than the standard. Then get rid of the brainwave siphon. And once that's done, you move to the third siphon, which over here at Graham is going to be Graham, I don't know, right over here. And we just got to wait for the timer for wave 3 to start. We've got about 4 minutes left to go for this event, so let's get to work. Now, with this wave, in addition to the regulars, you're also going to see the mythical Flatwoods monster pop up. And when it does, it's going to put up a shield around any nearby enemies. And it does actually hit pretty hard with its main attack, so get rid of it quick. You can get some more experience than you would from regular enemies from that thing, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, the problem is sometimes you can't always find where the bad guys spawned at, which is a real inconvenience when you're in a hurry to get rid of them. And it makes it a little hard in zones like Dire Chemical or Monongah because they will spawn all over the map in those areas. And it's a little harder to track them down. But again, normally you're with 15, 16 other people, and it's easy enough to miss them. Or it's easy enough for other people to catch them, so it's not just you hunting them down. I'm just being stubborn about this and doing it solo. I swear I saw, yeah, I did. Now the good news is that these things do drop a lot of contextual ammo, so you shouldn't worry about running out too much. They also drop a ton of circuitry and a little bit of plastic and rubber, but mostly circuitry, so you'll be able to stock up on that fairly easily. So if you are building anything that requires a lot of circuitry, this is a good place to farm up for that in the future. It sells pretty decently at a vendor too if you are strapped for cash. And we're almost done. That's 28, 29, 30. All right, now the final one is General Zeta. He's going to be a 3-star legendary. So just keep your plans on that. And his weak spot is his head. So if you are trying to kill him faster, aim for the face. The weak spot on all of these guys, except for the drones, is their heads. As far as I can tell, the drones don't have a notable weak spot. So aim high. Sorry if you guys can't see him with all the flame effect. Okay, and then once he goes down, all you have to do is get rid of the final brainwave siphon. And once you do, pick off any remaining aliens that may be hanging around. They don't depop like they do in some other events. And then you're done. Now, I should note, really quick, first of all, let's see what we got. Nothing terrible. All right. You're going to find that some daily challenges, they didn't seem to include any on the weekly this time. Some, remember where my challenges are. Some of your daily challenges may have you do things like take a camera picture of an alien enemy. As a reminder, you can do that when they're dead. But it does have to be, well, you used to be able to do it when they were dead. In that particular case, it must have just been alien and alien only, not any of the other names for these. But anyways, there you go. Just don't forget to do any remaining dailies you have to do. Pick up your loot and call it a day. So I hope that helps. I know we've got a lot of new players playing Fallout 76, and this is one of the more popular events. It's one of the easier events, but it does lag out a lot of people. So just be careful. Go out there, have fun, do your best to, enjoy the game, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great afternoon, everybody.